Yeah, from the comment section, TM said it was good to hear about the history of how money came about in the world. I did a bit of research into how NZ money came about and I learned some interesting facts on NZ money and how the history of this country influenced the design of money from TM.
Awesome. And we have Busayo raising up her
Then,
hand.
okay, just sorry, go ahead. Take the person's next person's comment. Sorry, the floor is yours.
Hello, good evening. Um, okay, I really enjoyed the last class, and what stood out for me was when the speaker was talking about the evolution of Bitcoin. Because I could remember towards the ending of the class, while people were asking questions, we were shown a chart of how Bitcoin increased in value as against gold that has been on ground for thousands of years. So that really stood out for me, seeing that Bitcoin that came about just in the year 2009 has so much value now, and it has even exceeded some other products from the. There was a chart that was shown, so that really stood out for me. And like Dennis explained, he explained the evolution of money from the days of trade by barter down to the use of gold and metal coins. But what really stood out for me was seeing how Bitcoin has evolved and it's still growing, and that has shown that it will still increase in value. So that was what stood out for me in the last class.
Awesome. Thank you, Busayo. Okay, then it's just a moment. From sorry, I'm very sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. I'm very sorry. Soluhu. I, mean, I don't have to pronounce her name. I'm very sorry, but he said Bata had a problem. What he learned from the previous classes, Bata had a problem of coincidence among people who wanted to make transactions from his own perspective. So yeah, Dennis, can go ahead before this thing continues.
Then thank you very much. So, like concerning what she said, that Bitcoin stood out for her, yes, that is right. Because like the main focus now
I
that
will skip this
that
boy.
is easy to use now is the
It's
Bitcoin.
also good to hear.
So as other currencies pass through stages by stages by stages, then we come to conclude that that you can handle and use.
Sorry, is it just from me or is his network breaking?
General.
I can't hear him soon.
Yeah, I think he's having network issues. So, from TM as well, TM said it was also good to hear the property of money being used in the history chapter, hearing and making the connection of how money changed from barter all the way to electronic money. Yeah, thanks, TM. So, another person want to share what they learned from the previous class. Listen, I think the floor is yours. I believe most people have said their mind. But we didn't hear from Bosun, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check the chat.
Yes, you didn't hear from me. I mean, I think there was something I wanted to say, but it just skipped my mind because I believe someone asked a question towards the end of the session, asking about something, saying like 21 million coins or something. I don't know. I think I'm misplaced. So I think we can just head right into to this session. But from last week, I think everyone has said it else. Just the evolution of money, really. Like from stone money to coins, and now we're at the stage of adopting Bitcoin, or mass adoption. So yeah, we're at the stage of adopting Bitcoin heavily. Hopefully, our country, Nigeria, gets on before we before the 21 million coins are totally mined off. If not, we're going to be screwed.
Yeah, thank you, Bosun. We didn't hear from Ifoma as well. Ifoma Blessing, are you with us? If you cannot come up to speak, you can actually just send your comment in the chat.
You know, I wasn't present in the class. I was absent actually.
Oh, that's fine. But you can refer to our YouTube channel to get the recording of the class, so you catch up. Yeah,
I
Ken.
will.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm not sure I heard from Ken. Wisdom. I think just Ken, Wisdom. Zach communicates. Yeah, Zach. Anything. If you can't come up to speak, probably you're in transit or you're busy right now, you can easily just send your comment in the chat box, like in the message area. I'll be happy to read that for you. But while we're waiting for them, Destiny, I think we can kickstart today's activities.
Well, there's not much of kickstarting. I'll be kickstarting. The Beckham has already kickstarted the lecture. I was having trouble getting in the class last. Okay, last class. So sorry, wisdom. So sorry, wisdom. But I hope you referred to the YouTube recording that was made. That's actually the purpose of the YouTube recording, to help us, to fill us in when something like this happens. So sorry for that. So there's no much kickstart to be done. Beckham has already pushed the he has pushed the motor already. I just need to pack it in a bit, because the place he packed it isn't very clear. So I just need to steer the wheel. And I don't know how to. I don't know how to drive a car, but I will try my best to make sure I don't get or hit anyone while I'm parking the vehicle. So shout out to Beckham for driving the vehicle for us. And at least a round of applause to Destiny for wanting to park the vehicle. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. It's actually a very interesting contribution. You all made a wonderful contribution, and even those people who are not in this class, after hearing what everyone has said, they will actually get a picture of how the class was, or what the class was all about. So this is why asking this interactive question at first is very important. So if you also want to also contribute, feel free to send in your reply, or send in what you learned, so other people can also learn from what you learned. They can learn your lesson, because the easier it is for you, the easier it's going to be easy for them. So I would start the section with something. I will make this mistake. Sorry, the name. Selo. So Selo, you said mentioned earlier, if I can remember, your name is Rio. So Rio, you mentioned something about Bata had a problem of coincidence amongst people who wanted to make transaction. So that leads me to this part of the slide, and I would love for Dan to come and share with us what the double coincidence of wants really means, because the double coincidence of wants is very important. Is a key thing you should also understand, because when your wants does not collide with my want, there's actually a big problem. So that is one thing that makes the bartering system very inefficient. So Dan, can you come and share to us what the double coincidence of wants is using this slide, and share to us from your perspective?
Yeah, good evening once again to everyone. Yeah, double question of ones. I don't know for some of us who usually go through the class, like through the PDF before class, or for those who have probably gone through the slide that was sent on Monday. If you went through the class activity aspect, you see that they gave some activities to students. Please bear with me. My teaching sometimes I might not actually say what is exactly in front of you, but I'll cover the context of it. So yeah, If you must have seen the activity that was given to students, so more like a card activity. They had to take out the 5 cards, in total 10. Five of it was to Five of it was to hold the want card, and five of it was to hold um the want card and the I think 13. Please go to that activity, please. I don't know why it's screaming in my head right now. But the 2 cards, they are to check they want what you want and what you have to trade with, something like that. Yes. So now, what makes when it comes to the double crusade of want, before one can trade in the barter system, we must have what they call a double coefficient of want. What do I mean? Looking at this image now in front of us, I have the lady there has metal tools. Then the guy has wheat. Now this lady wants she wants some wheat, but the guy himself he doesn't want metal tools. What does a farmer need with metal tools, at least in this context? Now he wants a shoe, but in this case the woman doesn't have a shoe to give to him. At this particular scenario now, the double coincidence of wants is not there. The word double coincidence of wants means, okay, there are two parties. This party wants to trade something. This party wants to trade something. Before you can say double coincidence of wants is that this first party must have what the second party wants, and the second party must have what the first party wants. Now, in that case, we have a double coincidence of wants. So, if the lady has let's forget about the fact that they brought in money for now. If the lady has probably she has spare shoes in her house and the farmer has wheat to offer, they have in that case now there's double consider of one because the lady has what the guy wants, the guy has what the lady wants. They can still swap. But in the case where there is no double coincidence of wants, this trade cannot take place. Please get this context well. When there is double coincidence of wants, it means that both party have what both party wants. But when there is no double coincidence of wants, then trade and barter cannot happen because I just have what one person needs. What the other person needs, I don't have it. Are we following? So this is where money then comes in because not every time you can have double question of wants. This life is big. It's too big to just be in one, just to be exchanging things like that. So if you look at this place as well, imagine now in let's forget about the olden days. Imagine in recent days, you go to a bar and then you are going with your you are going with a cow to so let's say I go to a club, a night club, then you have to go probably you're very, very rich, but you're rich in cows. Then you carry a big cow to the front of the bar and tell the bartender, I want to get a drink, I want to get what they call this expensive drink again. Ah, this thing remind me what they call this expensive drink again in the most times say in club. Is it NSC or Zazu? Abi Azu, Azu, exactly. Thank you, Bosu. Azu, you have to buy Azu, and then you are going with a big cow to tell the bartender, I want to trade. I'm going to give my cow and give me Azu. Like, are you normal? Like, for real? So in this case, you can't that trade cannot happen because the bartender doesn't want your cow, but you want what he has, but he doesn't want what you have. So initially, it can't work. So this actually is one part that affects trade by barter, because in case where there is no double coincidence of want, the trade can't happen, and you can't always be looking for double coincidence of want when you want to trade. Imagine it's a life and death matter, then you have to look for where to trade. So that's the one that is just the concept behind double coincidence of want.
Awesome. Very, very awesome. A round of applause for Dan. That's a well detailed explanation on what double coincidence of what is. Let me just give an example now. Imagine if like if your wife wants to give birth, or maybe if you want to marry and you need money. Let me say, let's not bring money into the picture. You need to buy a cake. So now you bring out your shoe because there was no money as of that time, and you're asking um the person that's making the cake to take your shoe in exchange of the cake, and the person that makes the cake doesn't want the shoe. He needs he needs long. He needs like a long because his our husband has like a long issue. So now I want to get married for the first time ever in my life, and you ask him to give you my long just because I need a cake. So that's very, very crazy. It can't work out. So that's why the bartering system was very, very inefficient because my need and your need may not align well. So we need to find another medium, another means to exchange value. You understand? So we need to find another means to exchange value. So this is why the ideology of money came in, and that was when the gold came in. So who can tell me one reason why the gold was considered a good form of money in the olden time? Anyone has a clue? Beckham mentioned this yesterday. But if you have your own idea on why the gold was actually the first to be inserted here as a good form of money as of that time, please come and share it with us. This is an open floor. You are free to. Yeah, okay, Dennis, go ahead.
I was speaking.
Actually, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Can- Okay. Like actually, it was like a medium of exchange during that time. Gold was like a medium of exchange, and it was kind of scarce. So like so during that time, it was more valued. Using it as a medium, of it was more valued during that time, like to exchange, to exchange goods, to exchange any products. So it was like a medium of exchange. So to my own understanding, so that's it.
Awesome. Bosun, go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. I think I was speaking before Dennis came up.
Oh,
Just to add on top of what he said, based on what is it Daniel just explained, coincidence of wants. It was just another way to also avoid coincidence of wants. So like
yeah,
as a better form of money, like as something that had more value on top of what Dennis has just said,
yeah,
something that has more value, it's it, that's what you could have used in those days, or that's why it was introduced as the better form to just like Bitcoin now, how you call it new money, like gold was the new money in that time. Thank
very, very awesome. Very, very awesome. Yeah, gift, please, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Okay, another reason why gold is was considered a good form of money was because it had an intrinsic value. Um,
Yeah,
the thing was that there could be like global trade among communities, among several people because each of them actually valued gold. Unlike when they had to wait for a coincidence of wants before they actually traded it. All right, so that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
very, very clear. Very, very clear. Who also have something to add? We have had Usayo, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I would like to add that gold is also durable, like unlike some other materials, maybe that will corrode or maybe um, that was one of the reasons. While and also Azul in the club, so I believe that was also the reason, durability and portability.
Very, very awesome. You made a point here, Busayo. You made a very, very amazing point here. Who also have something to add? Why? Who also have something to add? Before we discuss more on the aspect everyone came in, the dimension you all of us came in, because you can raise up your hand and you can also send in the chat box. Let me check if any message has come from the chat box. Okay, Azu. No. Okay, so Dennis came from the point of scarcity, Bosun came from the point of scarcity, and also I've forgotten the point. The place Bosun came from. Bosun, please, can you like tell me the point you were coming from, because I know you came from the point of scarcity and you also bridged to one extent.
I think it was Dan's point where he said double coincidence of wants.
Very, very
Sorry.
awesome. Exactly. That is very, very unique. So Bosun came from the ideology of the coincidence of want and the scarcity aspect of things. Busayo came from the point of durability, and this is what is very, very awesome, because back then gold was more durable than all those stuff. You can carry you can carry like one cow. Imagine if you can lift one cow. Can you lift like 10 cows in exchange of just my mobile phone? But that's one thing. During that period, during that period, one bar of gold was more durable than that cow. So now they see that if our exchange can just gold, also notably known for us, the rust, clear, sharp. It's also a store of value. It's also divisible because it's awesome. Awesome. So everyone now is already falling into the property of money stand of things. So because before your money becomes a sound money, it needs to fulfill different property of money. And who can mention the property of money? Who can mention the property of sound money? Let me help. Should I help, or who want to try? Property of sound money: scarcity, portability, bosun, divisibility. Bosun mentioned. Who want to try fungibility? Don't let Bosun to answer all this. Acceptability. Don't allow Bosun to answer everything. Finish. It still remains. It still remains. For your money to be a sound money, what are the properties? Censorship resistant. Also that. Also that. So let us okay say just this. For your money to be a sound money, it needs to be portable. You need to carry it. So back then, the gold was more portable than the bartering system. So that was one thing that they feel like, okay, this is a best form. This is a best form of exchanging our value. Now, this is a best means of exchanging our value. So now the gold being more portable than the bartering system was very, very efficient for them as of that time. Then when we come to scarcity, our coincidence of wants is not scarce. It can happen at any time. So that was a very, very poor way to exchange value. So that's why when the gold came in, they saw gold as something that is very, very scarce, because you can't actually see gold on the floor anyhow. You need to actually dig a gold mine. You need to actually process the gold. You need to go into a long, vigorous process before you can actually get a clear gold to exchange your value. So that was why the gold was now more of a scarce value, and it was even more valued intrinsic, like intrinsic, like it's like an intrinsic value. So it was more valued at that point. It is not like valued, like, let me say the worth of gold was valued at $1 million at that time. So they valued it very well as of that time. And when we talked about fungibility, the gold wasn't that fungible, but you can see the gold was acceptable as of that time. The gold isn't that much divisible until when you bring out metal coin. The gold was now divisible in terms of metal coin, but as a gold bar, the gold isn't that divisible. So now the gold, as of that time, had its own issue. So that was why there was like, yo, this gold that we see as a durable form of money is now becoming very, very hard. So why not we come down to metal coin? So this was why they came down to metal coin, and this was why the money evolved. So the only reason why money evolved is because there's no perfect money. When you believe that this kind of money is perfect, there's going to be a problem, and there's always going to be a need to change that form of money. You can see from the bartering system, which was very, very efficient for the people back then, down to the metal coin. Then because of people were counterfeiting the metal coin, adding copper to the metal coin, they had to like change from that metal coin down to um they had to change down to the paper certificate point, where they have to back their their value in a paper certificate backed by gold. So at that form, people were the bank issuance that is issuing the paper certificate were also overprinting that paper certificate. So they have to like switch from that paper certificate backed by gold to the current fiat money, which is not backed by gold. You see, then from the normal money which is not backed by gold, now people are like, yo, this money can't be easily transferred. We need a reliable means to transfer. So that's why they brought them the plastic card. So now there's always a problem. Money always have problem. Your money cannot be very, very okay. There must be a problem. So once this problem comes, people are seeing people will now work, or the government may work towards a solution to change the kind of money. So back then there was no government. The people had the decision. They can easily say, let us move from this to that. There was a central ruler, but people had their people had power to say something. At least their decision matters back then. But now, when everything is controlled by a centralized authority, we don't have the power to say anything. You can see in Nigeria now. Let me share this with you. They said our inflation, like currently, there's a news that there's an headline news that our inflation rate has come down to 24 point something percent from the normal 48%. So now the government has the right to just change the news. They can do whatever they want because they control the money. There's a saying that the money, who controls the money, has the power. So now, being that the government has control of the money, they can they have the power over everything. They can easily increase the tariff of everything. Most people don't know that we are paying taxes. Even the phone you are using, you are paying taxes to use your phone. You want to recharge, your recharge is indirect VAT. So you're paying tax through your recharge. You are buying a phone, the price of the phone goes up. Even the standard price, you're paying charges because the people who produce the phone had to pay charges, had to pay taxes. So now you are buying the phone from their company, so you are going to also pay the taxes from the money you pay for the phone. So everything in in this fiat world is full of taxes. So as long as the government controls the money, there's no freedom. There's nothing like whoa, your money is your money, or whoa, your fiat money is going to increase. Even when the government shares that the inflation rate is down to 1%, bro, we that we are in Nigeria knows how far things are going. There can be a little increase, little decrease in the inflation in the country as of that moment, but surely they are going to increase it. Government has their agenda. The system is just not too sweet for the people. The only people that enjoys in this kind of system is the rich people. As you can see, the rich people they always buy new stuff. They buy new stuff, buy new mansion, buy new cars. But the poor people have to work very hard and pay taxes and make the rich people more richer while they still enslave themselves in poverty. So very, very funny. So this was one reason why people were like, yo, this fiat money, as it's controlled by the government, why can't we just find a more decentralized kind of money that we can control, that we can own, that we can say, okay, yes, indeed, my money is my money, that we can be included in the in the global financial world without having to move toward intermediaries. You can see now, PayPal, Cash App may not be available for Africans, or maybe it cannot be may not be available for some parts of Africans.
Sir,
But Bitcoin gives you that freedom to access that global financial market
I watched it.
without having to rely on PayPal or
That I told you about.
what do you call it, Cash App. You
So
know,
I
if
can know
Nigerians have
how it
access to
was
Cash
small.
App,
I
receiving
that
funds
the
from
small.
US citizens or receiving funds from US clients is going to be easier because they can easily Cash App us the money and we receive the money directly. But now we don't have because we are being excluded. So Bitcoin brings that financial inclusion to the picture because you can easily send someone your Bitcoin address and they send you your money directly. Your plastic card now, I have a plastic card, but I don't know where I threw it. Your plastic card now, if you have a plastic card,
Yes, sir.
you know that you need to
Sorry, sir.
pay a lot of charges. Once someone transfers money to your account, you are being some amount of charges will be deducted from your money. Once you are transferring it, to be deducted. There's also going to be like monthly or daily card maintenance deduction. So you see that even this thing that tries to make life very easier for people, being plastic card, is also having its own problem. Yes. So that is why Bitcoin has come, and Bitcoin is very decentralized. Like everyone in the system has the power. The power is not just for the centralized authority or maybe the government. You have the power as a Bitcoiner. Bitcoin is something that if you have, you can transfer funds to your family in the UK with little or no fees, then to the Lightning Network. So Bitcoin is somehow is a tool for financial freedom. It's not a Ponzi scheme or a get rich quick scheme. So let us move down to what we are talking about from bartering to modern currency, and let us watch this short video to learn more about origin of um the origin of paper money. So I don't know if you can hear the sound of of this video. Please let me know so I can increase this. I
Yeah,
can.
you actually stop sharing. Bro, you're not sharing.
Destiny, we can't see your screen. You're not sharing.
Uh, okay. Okay, you can't see it. Let me try share.
And post-industrial economies we know today. This change revolutionized how we do business and forever
Bro, you stopped sharing again. So is this from me or is it general? Just to be sure.
It's general.
Sorry, let me try it again. Let me try it again.
All right, all
I don't
right.
know why. I don't know why it's somehow okay. Can you see it now?
Not yet. Yeah, I think it's about. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I don't know why. Okay, it's pinned. Let us see if it's let's go down.
How did humanity come to accept rectangular pieces of pulped trees as something to spend 8 to 10 hours a day working for?
Sorry, can you hear it?
Yeah, we can. We can.
Awesome. 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 After long hard work. So if you can hear it, let me see some emoji so I can know that yes, you're hearing it.
How did humanity come to accept rectangular pieces of pulped trees as something to spend 8 to 10 hours a day working for? It's a pretty insane story. This change from hard currency like gold or silver is a really huge deal. Without it, we couldn't possibly have the massive industrial and post industrial economies we know today. This change revolutionized how we do business and forever altered how governments were financed. Learning about this massive sea change in how we as a species thought about money can help us reflect on our current historical shift from seeing paper as money to seeing bits, seeing digital ones and zeros as money. But before we can get to the exciting story of people trying to convince other people that paper was worth something, to understand why this is such a huge deal, we have to discuss a bit about how we thought about money before paper. If we go way back to the beginning of society, we find trade. Before early humans even really settled down, there's evidence that when we met, we exchanged things we had made or things we'd found. But as soon as humans started to cultivate the earth and form societies, we started to specialize, and that meant that we not only loved to trade, we had to. Now, often when we think of trade, we think of long distance trade. We think of caravans loaded with exotic goods. But for our story, we have to talk about local trade. Because here's where we run into the problem of coincidence of wants. Or rather, we run into it everywhere, but if we fail to solve this problem at the local level, society breaks down, and we can't have the specialized trades we need to run anything beyond the smallest gathering of people. So, what is a coincidence of wants? It's the basis on which trade can exist. Let's say that I make shirts, and you grow food. Well, if you want a shirt and I want food, awesome, we can trade. But if I don't want your stupid food, or if you're all full up on shirts, well, we can't trade, can we? And that starts becoming a real problem for society if I want food but you don't want my shirts. Maybe I can find somebody with some third good that you do want, but that means that a lot of time is consumed by trading. And if I can't find some other good you want to trade for, well, there's going to be trouble. And this problem runs even deeper than we sometimes think about when you consider the lack of refrigeration and transportation. Imagine I'm a fisherman and you're a farmer, and let's say that we want to trade. Well, there's this problem. Your harvest only comes in once a year. I can't trade you for a harvest you don't have yet, and all of those extra fish I caught today are going to be pretty rotten by the time your harvest comes in. And while this may seem like a very specific example, trade for food was probably the most prevalent trade of the ancient world. So we need to find a third good that we both want that we can trade for. But wouldn't it be convenient if there was some universal third good which everybody wanted and would trade for, so we didn't have to do some long chain of bartering every time we wanted something?
Behind every mighty empire lurked a chaotic world of payroll and HR. Pharaoh Khufu.
Enter money. All money is a third good that doesn't spoil and that we all agree has value, thus becoming a unit of exchange, an intermediary good by which all other goods can be traded. And while we often think of coins made of precious metals for this purpose, the truth is, so long as it's durable enough and hard enough to procure, anything can serve as money. Tangent time. Turns out we have used a lot of weird stuff as money over our history. For example, cattle have often served as money. I mean, they're fairly durable, they last for years, they're practical, and they're reasonably scarce. When Europeans arrived in the Americas, alcohol often served as currency. You could literally drink your paycheck. Cigarettes have often become money of prisons and POW camps. Back in ancient China, money in the shape of tools and then knives became some of the first examples of precious metal money. And, my personal favorite, on the island of Yap, gigantic limestone donuts serve as money. They are so huge that once they are brought to the island, no one even moves them. They just remember who owns which ones. In fact, all of these stones had to be quarried off island because there's no naturally occurring limestone on Yap. And once, when a crew was coming back from a quarrying expedition, a storm hit and sent their stone to the bottom of the ocean. But the crew survived and told everybody what had happened, and the islanders decided that, it still counted. So, to this day, somebody owns that giant piece of stone money at the bottom of the sea. And even though it's not really in use today, for hundreds of years that stone was used to buy and sell things, even though no one had ever seen it. Giving Yap, in some ways, one of the most forward-thinking monetary systems before the modern era. But if we want to talk about the king of them all, the form of money that has been used the longest and over the widest expanse of the globe, we have to talk about one thing. Nope, not gold, although in fairness, that's what I would have guessed too. Nope, it's the cowrie shell. It's durable, impossible to counterfeit, and without modern harvesting techniques, it's not so easy to acquire that inflation will run rampant. Anyway, tangent over, back on target. We have lots of different possible types of pre-modern money, including the gold and silver coins that we so often think of when we think of money of the past. But all of these different types of money have one thing in common. They are what we call commodity money, because their value is in the commodity themselves. Even cowries were seen as rare and beautiful and could be used for jewelry and the like, and so were thought of as having intrinsic value, the same way we feel gold has an intrinsic value for its scarcity and its uses. Now that makes a lot of sense for a currency. It feels secure and reasonable. You trust to the worth of that gold coin in your hand. I mean, after all, if you're used to trading one thing for another, why would you ever trade something valuable like a horse for something worthless like a pile of paper? But for gold or for cowries, well, that's another story. But when your economy grows, this system starts showing some of its limits. For one thing, commodity money is heavy. If you're doing massive deals, it gets really hard to transport, and it's risky to transport across lawless lands. Commodity money is also often subject to debasing, where somebody, usually the person who should be responsible for making sure the currency maintains its value, waters down the whiskey, or takes a gold coin, melts it down, and reforges it with a bit less gold in it, and passes it off as worth the same amount. But more than anything, when you get to gigantic economies, the very scarcity that makes commodity money seem to have value becomes your enemy. Like, let's take gold and silver. What happens when your economy grows to the point where you just can't get enough of it? We actually saw the effects of this in our episode on the Opium Wars, where so much English silver was ending up in China in exchange for tea, it was actually causing inflation and hampering basic economic transactions at home. And this really comes into effect when we get to more modern government finance and the financing of war. What happens to a nation when it has to make a sudden drastic uptick in its spending but can't get enough specie to cover its cost, even from those who are willing to lend? As I am sure we will see in future Extra History episodes, it plays havoc with an economy, and even the ability to prosecute a war. And the reverse of this is true as well. Currencies based on scarcity are often subject to changes in the scarcity of the commodity on which they're based, which can be trouble when somebody finds a lot more of your currency commodity. When Spain started to import massive amounts of silver and gold from the Americas, all the precious metal-based currency in Europe started to suffer from inflation. After all those gold coins weren't worth nearly as much since somebody had just dumped a huge new pile of gold on European shores. And as a government or even a financial sector, when someone digging up a new pile of minerals means that you can't control your own fiscal policy, that's bad news. But those disadvantages are only easy to see if you're a head of state or working on the largest scale transactions. If you're just some average person in the streets, when some well-to-do says that they want to take your grain in exchange for this nice slip of... is that paper? Well, you would be forgiven for thinking that you smell a rat. Join us next time as we finally delve into the origins of paper money and start to address this problem of people fearing to give up their outdated gold.
You don't like of casing. You see this restaurant. Wait.
Very awesome, very awesome. Who wants to
And this is
chime in on what you think? Okay, what you understood
now
from
we
this
have like
video?
2 years back. I think they make mistake for the two weeks. You see this one I tell you now. You know what I say? She don't get a lot of money. Talk about say make the money make again. Say the one week to the next like this. Say I know we get happy. Say everything must meet for
I
that.
will go first.
No we need for open.
Please do, please do.
Dey
Okay, so basically just
club go house.
again
No
the history of money,
hotel like this.
the history of paper money,
No be
um,
I go chop like
the difference
that.
between paper money and
I
gold,
don't remember that.
and
I think I might say
should I add how
already.
would I say central banks
You know
are at liberty to
the very
reprint money, like people that have like the big banks or the people that are in charge, obviously the central banks. In an economy, it's the central banks because it's always is centralized. You
Yes.
know, have that free will to print more money just to bail out an economy, and
So I use that one
in the end, just to see inflation rise in that economy. You know, I think you spoke about inflation in the beginning,
Yeah.
and then just while the video was playing, I just
phone.
quickly popped on to X and I saw something about inflation again, like in Nigeria, the cost of crate of eggs. And on the side, I was just doing like a differentiation between 2020 cost of crate of eggs in 2020 and cost of crate of eggs now. And I can tell you for a fact that the price has gone up by at least like $2 because right now it's like $4 for 6K is what crates cost right now, and in 2020 it was about say 1,200, 1,005 at the max, you know. So it's gone up. Inflation is real.
I think that
So
was
what this video was basically just talking about is a way,
December.
in hindsight, a way to control inflation, a way for you to have your own money, for you not for you to necessarily have your own money, but like money that is backed by hard work, like proof of work, like you know, money that's trusted by everyone, new money, like it's going to definitely invalidate this paper money as time goes on. And if anyone has also seen the video of the IMF and what's happening in El Salvador, one would think that El Salvador is like the Bitcoin capital. But if the IMF have gone there to say something about using Bitcoin, it tells you something like you need to raise your, it's like eyebrows, you raise your eyebrows like something fishy, you smell something fishy.
without AC.
And again, just side notes before I round up and give the floor to someone else. If anyone has also seen the issue about Michael Blackson in Ghana and what happened, because he apparently lost, or he said that the Ghanaian government robbed him of $1.2 million. And the first thought that came to my head was like, yo, you know, if you had sent that money in Bitcoin, all of this shit would have happened, you know. There's no central bank that's going to hold your money and tell you that they're going to use your money and do shit. And now, apparently, the children are suffering and all of that. So, yeah, you need to control your own money if that makes sense, because you don't want to hear stories, you don't want to cry, you don't want inflation to come and hit you, you know, something that's now worthless because some fella, one Mr. Mensa, has decided to reprint money in the central bank, or one Mr. Soludo or something. So yes, I will just leave the floor here for someone else to talk here. Thank you.
But now, once in a while, you get that kind of thing,
Yeah,
Awesome
you
thank you.
contribution.
I think Gift wants to talk. Oh, she just. I think I need to just cut off now. Need to cut off now. And then, question from Zach: Does Bitcoin have free? Does Bitcoin have fee transaction?
If I don't speak well, I'll say I don't get relationship. If I don't
Okay. Does Bitcoin has fee transaction?
Like fee, not free. Fee. Hello, sir.
Bitcoin has yeah, yeah, fee.
Sir,
I
this
understand.
one, this one.
Bitcoin has its own fee
You
on
think so?
chain. Is as little as 3 sat per VByte. Because last time I checked, it was 2 sat per VByte. So it's very little. But there's something called the Lightning Network that enables you to send money easily without little or no fee. You understand? On chain, it is like there's something we call Bitcoin on chain and Bitcoin off chain. On chain is the normal Bitcoin blockchain. Is the normal Bitcoin chain. Yes, but off chain is now where other layers that are built on top Bitcoin are called. So off chain we have the Lightning Network. The Lightning Network is very very smooth. It makes you to like it enables you to send money from one person to another very very fast and very very quick. So we'll discuss more on that as we uncover what the introduction of Bitcoin. We discuss about how does Bitcoin work. We discover about how to use Bitcoin. We'll talk more about that. But for now, just have it in mind that there's something called the Lightning Network that makes you send Bitcoin from one place to another very, very cheap. And there's something that there's a news I heard that you can send up to is it someone said there's like the liquidity size is like 400 million. You can set up to like 400 million USD on Lightning. It works that way also. I'm not yet sure, but I will also confirm. So the Lightning is very, very okay. And you know why? Bosun, do you know why the mempool is seeing little transaction or little or no blocks in the mempool? Why? I see it as maybe because of the lightning net. No, okay, yeah, depending on the wallet, yes. The reason why the Bitcoin mempool is seeing little or no block is because people are actually using the Lightning Network now to do transactions because the collaboration of Tether and the Lightning Network makes it people actually want to go more on Lightning because now they can use stablecoin on Lightning. So there's a lot for you to learn about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not hard; it is simple. You just need to understand the basics, and the basics is what we want to share with you. You know, the basics is what we want to share with you. Now we've learned about the history of money. Now we've known how Bitcoin comes into the game because people need to have take advantage of their money because people don't want to be shut down from the bank. I there's like different human rights activists. Okay, let me give you an example. During the NSAS protest, the NSAS protesters were receiving funds from different partners, different company, different organizations, but because of the government was against them. Are you hearing me? Is everyone hearing me, please? Yes, because the
Yeah,
government was against the
louder.
NSAS protesters in Nigeria, they had to shun their bank off. So the government literally cut the NSAS protesters' account. So those money that were inside their account, they shun them off that they were not even able to withdraw their money from their account. Neither were they able to use the money to continue their protest. Luckily, they got introduced to Bitcoin. So now they used, as of that time, the NSAS protesters in Nigeria used Bitcoin to facilitate their protest in order to end the SARS brutality in Nigeria. So there's a lot of use cases of Bitcoin. Bitcoin gives you that decentralized control of your money. It gives you that control. Like you can actually control your money. The government cannot come and say, I want to block your bank. You did something I hate. You can actually go commit crime. Don't commit crime, please. You can actually go do something that the government doesn't like, and they won't actually tamper with your money because we all know the government that once the government is annoyed with you, the first thing they do is to lock your account. They take custody of your bank account, the bank account you suffered to grow, your entire life savings is on. They take advantage of that your bank account. So that's why people now saw the need for Bitcoin. They need to own their money. They need a decentralized way for them to own their money without story. You understand? So Bitcoin now, you've seen how it comes into play. So Bitcoin is something that you know that is a tool that gives you your money. And the sweet part of Bitcoin is that act like Bosun, only I'm sure Bosun can relate with me, Dan can relate with me, and other people who have interacted with Bitcoin. In the long run, the value of your money in Bitcoin appreciates in price. Let me just put it in price. Bitcoin is not get rich quick scheme, but it's backed by proof of work. You actually have to do the work. You don't need to you don't need to actually scam you don't need to actually scam the system whilst just like how we are getting to
But
that.
if you are popular
You
to
don't
within now
okay,
and
bro. One time I had 0.3 and I sold it. Jesus. Yo, because if you had $1, I mean
telling you that
$1, if you
why you
put
have
$1 in Bitcoin
you know
about
outside
12 years ago, yeah, to precise, now you'll be seeing about close to, I don't want to give you a total, like you'll be seeing a high increase, like I don't boost help me. I don't know what to say. Maybe you can say like $20,000 or you can say like $10,000 because the price of Bitcoin increased and Bitcoin was priced very little as of that moment. Maybe $5,000. I don't know what you can say, but price goes up. So now if you come into Bitcoin now and you put your money in Bitcoin, bro, you know that over a long time you would see a huge amount, but your mindset is not in that huge amount. Your mindset is freedom. Both when I feel your pain, I feel your pain, I feel your pain as a brother. Next time, do you want to open up and share your experience with us selling your Bitcoin as of 20?
Never do it. Just never do it, because if someone told me 4 years along the line that, look, that money was going to like appreciate, I'd have said, okay, but well, I need the money now. That's money.
And the money, there was only money.
Jesus, overappreciated, overappreciated. And right now, that's like a lot. 0.3. Like I'm close. You're getting close to like 0.5, and then one Bitcoin. You become a whole coiner. And you know what one Bitcoin is right now? That's 95 or 96K from, it's volatile, but like it will go up to say, I mean, at the end of the day, the whole thing is, it is a good store of value. It is just a good store of value. It is just a good store of value, because over time, that asset will appreciate, and you just, I mean, you find yourself becoming an evangelist, preaching for the ecosystem to work, because that is something that you've seen it grow over time, and it's sound money, like it's real good money. It's based on something, it has proof of work, it has where you can use it. So anyways, I mean, it's never too late. We're still not too late. Keep stacking, keep holding on for dear life, and keep educating yourselves and one another. Orange peel one person. Thank you.
Awesome. Uh, I know how difficult it looks having like 0.3 BTC selling it off. Bro, you could have been well, it happens. I have this guy who sold his Bitcoin to buy golden chain. Up to now he regrets it because if he had saved his money in Bitcoin, the chain now is more of valueless because the price he would have gotten at this moment would have been very, very huge. He could have like because the money was like he said he got it up for 3 million. He got the money for 3 million naira, the chain for 3 million naira. But he was like, bro, if I had saved this money on Bitcoin, the price would have grown. So people now, which is why Salvador did the right thing. Okay, TM, Dan, please get ready to read TM message. So we are going to round up from this point. So the whole point here is that Bitcoin is not scam money. Bitcoin is the evolution of money. Just as we used fiat, we used paper card, we used coin, we used gold. Bitcoin is an evolution okay. Bitcoin is an evolution of all those because money is produced by okay. We all don't want this money. There's a problem for this. We have like a problem. So now Bitcoin is now solving that problem. Bitcoin is now solving that problem. So Bitcoin is an evolution of money, and just know that even if it is not a get rich quick scheme, it is where your money can be saved for what it is, and it is where you can be saved, and all your time and energy can be saved because all your money is a product of your time and energy. So Bitcoin is where you can save your time and energy and know that yes, you are truly saved. You understand? You cannot be censored by the government. So yeah, so thank you so much. God bless you for learning about Bitcoin. Bitcoin helps your financial value. Thank you. So God bless you all. Bosun, please take it one side of your heart that Very soon you're going to be a full altcoiner. I don't know if you are currently a full altcoiner, but don't just think of it as anything. It happens. That is why education like this is very, very important. Maybe one of us can be given an opportunity to own a Bitcoin and you don't know the value, you just want to sell it off. But now you've gotten the education and you want to hold your Bitcoin because in the long run, it is going to be something you would not want to regret or you would not regret. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you. And I give this as an open floor. Please come and contribute. What do you learn today? What do you think that has corrected in your mind about Bitcoin? Bosun is giving us I. So what has corrected in you about Bitcoin? What would you like to ask? So this is an open floor for you to express yourself. Ask question before we call it a blessed day. Go ahead, Kusayo.
Okay, I have a question. From what Bosun said and what you've explained, you said that Bitcoin has increased in value. So are you guys now saying that Bitcoin will never like depreciate, or will it continue to increase and all that? That's what I want to clarify. Did you get my question?
Yeah, I do. Dan,
Okay.
please go ahead.
Yeah, so speaking about Bitcoin depreciating and whether to increase, this is one thing that actually goes through my head as well. But the idea is this: I don't know if I've heard it before or if I've heard other Bitcoiners say this, that we are in. Yes, we want fast enjoyment, and this is also it was also in our chapter two, if I'm not mistaken. We're not just here for the now enjoyment. We're here for the long period, like the long term goal. That's what I hear. So Bitcoin can, honestly, I'm telling you like the truth. Bitcoin today, it is at $95,000. It can drop down to $40,000. No jokes. It can. But a real Bitcoiner or a person who has has studied Bitcoin and has understood how Bitcoin works will understand that it can drop that low, yes, but in the long run, it goes higher than that. Bitcoin, I don't know, I'm not sure the exact year now, but as at it sometimes back, Bitcoin got to 8,000 when it was still low, it got to $8,000, got to $16,000. Then for some period, it went down back to $8,000. Then people were like, Bitcoin is scam, this and that, that and that. But look at today, it is at 95, like 95. So if anybody tells you that Bitcoin will not depreciate, that person is lying to you. That's a big lie. It's yes, at some point it fluctuates, it goes down, yes, it comes down, yes, but in the long run, it appreciates. It appreciates basically. Yeah.
Thank you so much for this awesome. Do you understand?
Sorry, can I add?
Kusayo. Yeah, please add. Please. Thank you.
Okay. So even looking at, uh, thank you very much. I think that was Dan that just spoke, and fantastic question, Busayo. Just to answer what you are saying. So even with the recent like price, would I say what was the proper word to use? Like the price increment or something. If we look at it from how it went from 60 to it went from, first of all, it went from 60 to 70. I know everyone was like, oh, I wish I was going to get to 100. Everyone was like, next thing 80, next thing 90, 100. It went to 105. Within getting from 60 to 105, I can tell you that it's gone back from 105 to 100 to 95. But 95 is looking like the new zero. And that's one thing a lot of Bitcoiners see. So, like, according to what Dan said, it's not like it's not ever going to drop, but in a long, like in a stretch of time, or in a long period of time, or if you stretch time out, like it is a great store of value. That's my own point. Because very soon, not very soon, we're already at that point. Paper money is beginning to look useless. You can just paper. Haven't you seen videos on YouTube of people printing money in Asia? In shops, is it Asia? Sorry, Colombia or Peru or somewhere. People are printing fake dollars, and like it's still accepted. I mean, it's not like the federal what's it called? The federal bureau, is it bureau or reserve or something? These guys, the reserve, like for America, the US reserves don't have like a track of where fake dollars come from. They have a track, but they know that they are also printing paper money. Unlike Bitcoin, like tell me what nonce. Tell me the code you're going to put in as the new nonce or as the new difficulty or come on. There's proof of work behind Bitcoin. There's no proof of work behind paper money. Somebody will just sit down. Or Mr. Mensa or Soludo will say, print money. They'll print money. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents.
Yo, Bosun, you and Soludo, you are always mentioning Soludo as if you know Soludo that well.
Or Emefiele.
Yeah. So Soludo is from Nigeria. He's Nigerian. Let's say I don't know what he is, but he's part of
Central
the
Bank.
central bank. Yeah, central bank of now. So Bitcoin blockchain network, it cannot be infiltrated. Yeah, it cannot be infiltrated. Bitcoin is safe, is strong. We are not even supposed to discuss Bitcoin now. This is history of money, but there's a reason for everything. So thank you so much, Bosun, for the awesome contribution. Thank you so much, Busayo, for the awesome question. I don't know if you still need more clarity on it. Please ask. We have amazing people here who can answer the questions. Dan, thank you also so much for the awesome contribution. Dennis, thank you so much. The emoji and the contribution is a big energy on its own. I can see everyone. Thank you so much, guys, because section like this cannot be possible without you. Ifoma, God bless you. God bless you. And thank you so much also. I just want to tell you something. This is a program you won't regret because it's an eye opener. So yeah, thank you so much for joining today's section. Bosun, cap up for you. 0.3 BTC.